before the next storm hits. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with R.J. Saunders. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. Getaway day for me, a little vacation beginning tomorrow. So there are some in the sports radio community on a national basis that might just say, I'm going to the Caribbean on Saturday. Vacay starts tomorrow. I don't have to think about this place for 11, 12 days. I'm just going to mail it in. Do you think that's what I did on a Thursday night, the 16th day of May here in 2024 on Hacker After Dark? I thought about it. But at the end of the day, I said, nope, the good men and women of Jacksonville, Florida need my thoughts, need my perspective. I need theirs as well. We have a schedule that has come out in the last 24 hours. We have the stadium deal to still discuss more thoroughly. We got NBA playoff action. We got OTAs for the Jaguars beginning. We have NHL playoff action. Translation, there is a ton going on. And with that, the guest lineup tonight looks like this. In less than 20 minutes, Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, will join us to talk about rookie minicamp, to preview OTAs. I like the job Travis does over there at Big Cat Country, and he will join us in less than 20 minutes. Also, later on in the 8 o'clock hour, Cole Kublik of SEC Network, ESPN, and the Jocks radio program in Birmingham will join us to talk a little Florida Gators. Billy Napier was in town earlier this week. A lot of low expectations for Florida. Cole Kublik thinks maybe they're a little too low. And we'll let him explain that to you coming up here in about 45 minutes. So a ton to do with you till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and R.J. Saunders. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right, so last night we had the opportunity to break down the schedule as it was coming out about 24 hours ago. And I've gotten a chance to listen to some of the prognostications from some of my colleagues today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. And after a ton of research, after the blood, the sweat, and the tears I put into analyzing every aspect of the Jaguars' schedule since last night, I came to this conclusion. I think they're going to be 9-8 again. That's what I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be 9-8, and I think they're going to be battling for one of those final wild card spots in the AFC. Will they get that wild card spot? I don't know. I'm probably not picking them to win the division. Here is my logic for having them go 9-8. And by the way, it wasn't that long ago, 2021, that the Jaguars won 3 games. They won 1 game in 2020. So going 9-8 for a third consecutive year would not be a bad thing. But man, just the venom on social media. If people took as much energy as they have on social media bad-mouthing each other through keyboards and actually use that to do something productive with their own lives, what a better place society may be. Clarence, won't give his last name because that's not cool, but I'll just say Clarence, tweeted me this, RJ, last night after I said 9-8. Those are my initial thoughts. Not a terrible tweet, right? 9-8. Those are my initial thoughts. Dude, why do you even work for 1010XL or even talk about the Jags? You, the letter U, and then the letter A. You, a hater. You love on everybody else's team. I'm just reading it as it says. You love on everybody, it's B-O-D-Y, everybody else team but the Jags. No commas or anything, by the way. You always think negative, but everything Jags. OMG, you garbage. Now, RJ, you are of the youth of America. You're a little younger than I am, probably more hip than I am. I'm a very old 40-year-old man. Is what I said a bad thing? 9-8 are my initial thoughts. Did I deserve a tweet that says, dude, why do you even work for 1010XL or even talk about the Jags? You a hater. You love on everybody else's team but the Jags. You always think negative, but everything Jags. OMG, you garbage.
No, I don't think you deserve that. However, you understand how it is around these parts. Duval till we die. If either you're with us or you're against us. And right now, it felt like that tweeter, although grammatically incorrect, it feels like from what you read, is saying that you're against us right now. You're on the other team.
And my question would be, and it's more a rhetorical question, why would 9-8 be against the Jaguars? I think they're going to win more games than they're going to lose. I don't understand why 9-8 would be against the Jaguars, a team that won 4 games combined in 2020 and 2021, and a team that has won 9 games in 22 and 23. I'm not saying they're going backwards. I think they're going 9-8. My logic is this. The first 4 games are ridiculously hard. It would be a win to go 2-2 in those first 4 games. So if you stay with me there and you go 2-2 in those first 4 games, that means you go 7-6 over the next 13. And here's how I have the Jaguars going. I have them losing to Miami opening day, winning against Cleveland, so 1-1. They're going to split, in my opinion, at Buffalo, at Houston, whichever one you want to pick. I said they were going to lose to Buffalo and they were going to beat Houston, but however you want to do it, I think they're going to be 2-2 after the first 4. I then think they're going to rattle off 3 in a row. I think they're going to win at home against Indy. I think they're going to win both London games. Rookie quarterback Caleb Williams, rookie quarterback Drake May. I got them 5-2 through 7. I do have them losing the next 2. A home game to Green Bay, I think they lose, and I think they lose Sunday Night Football to Philadelphia. So I have them 5-4 through 9. Again, nothing terrible. I think they beat Minnesota to get to 6-4. I think they lose to Detroit to get to 6-5. Bye week at 6-5. Houston here, I don't think they're going to sweep Houston, so I have them losing to Houston to fall to 6-6. I do have them sweeping Tennessee, and I do have them beating New York, the Jets. I have losses to the Raiders and the Colts. That's how I get them to 9-8. So 9-8. My question to you, Jaguar fans, hit me up on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. Would you sign on the dotted line right now, May the 16th? Would you sign on the dotted line for 9-8? Or am I shortchanging Jacksonville? Do you believe this team is better than 9-8? I believe it's a good football team. That's why I think they're going to win more games than they're going to lose. I'll tell you this. I have grave concerns about the edge pass rush after Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. I also have concerns at corner. And think about what you're doing at corner in the first couple of weeks of the year. I mean, honestly, think about what's going to happen. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Odell Beckham right out of the gate in Miami. Followed up by Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy with Cleveland. Buffalo, all right, not really great wide receivers, although that is Josh Allen. And then Houston, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. You better have that secondary figured out. And you better have that secondary figured out very, very quickly. Because in the first month, you're playing Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Odell Beckham, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Jerry Jeudy, and Amari Cooper. Whew. Good grief. First 4 are vital because, again, I do think it gets considerably easier the next 3. Indianapolis, look, at some point, the law of averages, Indianapolis is going to win a football game here in Jacksonville. I don't necessarily know when that will be, but the law of averages will tell you at some point it's going to happen. Seemingly, the Colts haven't won here in 30 years. I think the actual number is going on a decade that the Colts have not won in Duval County. I think Jacksonville wins that game, although that scares me, but it scares me every year because eventually that streak will end. And then I think the NFL gave you a favor by scheduling 2 rookie quarterbacks that have never played in London to face you in London, in Caleb Williams and in potentially Drake May. So as hard as the first 4 are, the next 3 are very easy. So to me, if you can go 2-2 in those first 4, that is a victory, man. 2-2 in the first 4 should have you salivating if you're a Jaguar fan. Because I do think you're going to rattle off 3 in a row. But I do think after you come home game against Green Bay without a bye after London could be hard. And then Sunday night football against Philadelphia is probably going to be really hard. As I said last night, there is some good and there is some bad with the Jaguar schedule. But at the end of the day, you take up all the good, you take up all the bad, you mix it into a pot, you stir it around, and what do you come out with? I think you come out with 9-8. And the question is, will 9-8 be good enough to get the Jaguars into the playoffs? Probably not. I would tend to doubt it. I think they'll be in the conversation until week 18, but I would bet 9-8 doesn't get you in. And if 9-8 doesn't get you in, then what is the future for Trent Baalke? What is the future for Doug Peterson? That would be a valid question at that point. Hopefully they surpass my expectations. They didn't last year. I had them 12-5 last year. I overshot by 3 games. Maybe I learned my lesson, and that's why I'm going 9-8. Maybe conventional thinking is I was wrong too high last year. Hopefully I'll be wrong too low this year. But that's where I'm at, 9-8 for the Jaguars. Would you sign on for that right now? That's my question for you, Jaguar fans. Without knowing anything about the way the season goes, without knowing where those wins come from, how they happen, what happens, all of it, I just tell you, you're going to be 9-8 for the 3rd straight year. Would you take that, or would you say, Hacker, nope, I'm going to take my chances, and I think we can do better than 9-8. Hit me up on the text line, 641-1010. RJ, quickly, 9-8. Would you take that?
I would take it, although I do want more, and that's just being a greedy Jags fan. I believe that this team probably still has a bad taste in their mouth from when they ended the season, and I think that they do come out with more intensity and probably more of a concerted effort to go out and win the games that they should win. I mean, we hear from Dave Campbell all the time. He said he felt last year that this team was a year away. Let's see if this is the year they're able to put it together and make a deep playoff run. But 9-8 wouldn't be bad, but I think if this team doesn't make the playoffs, maybe heads start to roll, and that's going to be a bad thing here for this organization.
Quickly, you've spent a year and a half out in Houston with ESPN Radio out there. You buy the Texans hype coming into this season?
I think that the Texans hype is almost going to be similar to the Jags hype. I think that they're going to expect everything to come to them. They're now dealing with a first-place schedule, and that's something that C.J. Stroud has not dealt with before in the National Football League. Sure, he's a solid quarterback, and you put a lot of great pieces around him. DeMeco Ryans is a hell of a coach and had a hell of a first year, but now you're in uncharted territory. You're in uncharted waters. Can you do it again? That's going to be the question. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, but I don't count the Jags out of the AFC South race just because the Houston Texans had a great year last year.
641-1010 is the phone number. That's also the text line. Let me read you some of these texts. Missing the playoffs, would not be impressed. When someone says 9-8, my initial thoughts, that is a... Oh, okay, that is fair. I thought I was going to say that is a failure. That is fair. Yeah, I think 9-8 is fair. I don't think I'm saying they're garbage by saying they're going to go 9-8. That's just where I'm at. Maybe I'm not drinking the teal Kool-Aid like a lot of people. You owned it last year, but I think you're right this year, 9-8. I wouldn't take it simply because I don't think that's enough wins to win the division. That's Sean from the South Side. Not no, but hell no from the 509. A guy named Clarence. I don't know if this was the same guy that was ripping me last night. Hacker, they signed Trey Flowers and Terrell Edmonds. There you go, putting other teams on a pedestal. Last time I looked, the other teams put the shoes on the same time the Jags do. Jags are never scared. Maybe that is the same guy that called me garbage. If so, Clarence, glad you're listening. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. But hit me up on the text line. Would you take 9-8 right now? That's what I have the Jaguars finishing in 2024. Let's continue the Jaguar conversation with Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. He comes up next on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark with R.J. Saunders. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
A PGA Championship update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 106th PGA Championship. NFL single-game tickets are on sale now. Visit NFL.com/tickets to purchase today. There have been 4 rounds of 62 in the 160-plus years of major championship golf, and Xander Schauffele owns 2 of them. One in the first round of the U.S. Open last year, another today in the first round at Valhalla. 9 under par, bogey-free. Tony Finau also bogey-free, a 665, 3 back of Schauffele, along with Sahith Theegala. Rory McIlroy at 5 under. He won at Valhalla the last time it hosted the PGA 10 years ago. Bob McIntyre is also at 5 under par, 4 back. 2 players in the afternoon wave joining that group at 5 under. Thomas Dietrich and Tom Kim both have played 13 holes. Scotty Scheffler, 3 under through 11. The number 1 player in the world is 6 back. I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
The 2024 NFL schedule, powered by AWS, has been released, and single game tickets are on sale now. That's every epic showdown, every classic rivalry, every primetime game. 17 games for all 32 teams. Visit NFL.com/tickets to purchase tickets today. The NFL Ticket Network, including Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, and Sports Illustrated Tickets, are the official marketplaces for NFL tickets.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
I know you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not quite sure how when it comes time to sell it. I'll tell you how. I'll give you 2 hows, Chad and Sandy. More on that in a second. It's a tougher market now. It means it's crucial to hire the right agents to sell your home to maximize price, and we have been telling you now for years, and why I'm recommending Chad and Sandy Newman at chadandsandy.com. They've got the plan and experience to sell your home fast for maximum cash. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time, but most importantly, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Take Mary in Panther Creek. My dream was to move from my Panther Creek home into a new Del Webb Sweetwater home closer to my family. Chad and Sandy made it happen. They sold my own home in just 14 days. Plus, they helped me get into my new dream home at the same time. Call the Jacksonville experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy at 414-6200, 904-414-6200, or chadandsandy.com.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Your kids ages 5 through 12 can play tackle football and cheerleading with the Police Athletic League. Register at PALsports.org.
If you'd like to play in the Northeast Florida Cornhole Tournament at Wingate Park May 18th,
register at Tsunami10U at mail.com.
It benefits Tsunami Fast Pitch Softball.
The 5-Star Veteran Center of Jacksonville is the place homeless veterans can go to recover, recharge, retrain, and reconnect. Learn more at 5starveterancenter.org.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
You have healing power. Even writing a letter or volunteering can help heal a veteran. Find out more at healvets.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Make sure your roof is ready for the next Florida storm by scheduling a free roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roof repairs and replacements, plus flexible financing. This offer expires May 31st and restrictions apply. Ensure peace of mind before the next storm hits. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 16, 1985, after an incredible first year in the NBA with the Chicago Bulls, future Hall of Famer Michael Jordan was named NBA Rookie of the Year.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
The sun's out, the water's cool. It's a perfect day for boating.
What's that boat doing?
Perfect boating days can quickly turn into disasters when drugs and alcohol are involved. Don't let boating under the influence ruin your day. FWC officers have zero tolerance for impaired operators. If you're over the limit, you're under arrest. Learn more at myfwc.com. Brought to you by the FWC Division of Law Enforcement.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Jaguar rookie minicamp in the rearview mirror. OTAs begin next week, where a lot of the veterans will be back out on that field as the offseason continues to fly on by. With that, Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Travis, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. It was a really interesting. It was a really interesting day. It didn't go as planned originally with Jaguars rookie mini camp. Obviously, starting off with the hurricane-like conditions outside, so they took everything indoors. But it was a great day.
No, it was. It was nice to get some eyes on these rookies, no question. And before we really break down the rookies, when you think back to free agency, Travis, and I guess combine the rookies into that, just your thoughts, man, on the offseason so far through the first 3.5 or 4 months.
It was an interesting offseason because I would probably categorize it as being the Jaguars' best free agency class that Trent Baalke has had to date. And it's also a weird thing to say that and also say it was probably the second to third best free agency class out of the entire AFC South. And I kind of don't know how to correlate. Like, I don't know how to put those two things together, but nevertheless, it was a really solid free agent class for the Jaguars in comparison to all the previous ones we've had. And it's a very high, I guess I will say high variance draft class, whereas we're hoping these guys land. So if just one of those guys in those middle draft picks land, it becomes a really dang good, draft class between Brian Thomas Jr. Obviously, he's take the top off of the offense type of guy. You have the, Mason Smith pick, which is, again, if he's everything that he showed himself to be at the end of the season, the last quarter of the season in 2023, then that is a top 10. That's a top draft pick, that you've gotten. And then you get obviously the whole free agency class with Arik Armstead, changing the scope, changing how that defensive line looks. And you add that to those draft picks, and I mean, we're working with something at that point, like truly.
It's been an active offseason, too. I think when all's said and done, you're probably going to have 18 or 20 guys that are going to be new on this roster in 2024 that were not here in 2023. Again, Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country here with us on Hacker After Dark. All right, Travis, let's get into the rookies. You were out there alongside myself and our media colleagues last Friday. Brian Thomas Jr., your thoughts on the pick, your thoughts on how he fits in with Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis in this Jaguar offense.
My original thoughts on the pick was I was inconsistent on it. I had only watched probably a good hour of tape on him beforehand, so I just kind of didn't know how to feel about it originally. And then the night of the pick, I'm up till 2 o'clock in the morning watching game film on it. 4 straight games, and I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here. If he's everything that he's shown himself to be as far as the early portions of camp, I know, again, it's the underwear Olympics, it's guys running around with no pads on.
Yeah.
But he's shown himself to actually be able to run the full route tree, which, again, I expected it to be a struggle for him early, and I'm like, well, no, the LSU coaches are saying he can actually do it all. They just had a great guy at doing it on the other side. Okay. And now he's looking like that guy. That changes everything for me a little bit, because if he's just in the same stratosphere, and I'm not saying he has to be as good as a veteran receiver in Calvin Ridley, but if he's in that same stratosphere of just being able to adequately run those routes, having the speed that he has, having the ability to take a top off of defense, having the ability to win those contested catches, something that really did struggle with, oh no, we are talking about an entirely different game plan. Like, this is something good at that point.
I think fans and media going into 2023, we all were lumped in with ridiculously high expectations for Kirk, Ridley, and Zay Jones. Expectations were not met due to injury, due to drops and other such things. It did not work out. Now Ridley's gone, Zay Jones is gone. What are your expectations for Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, and Brian Thomas? Obviously a lot of unknown, right? Gabe Davis coming off an injury last year, Christian Kirk coming off an injury, and Brian Thomas is a rookie. But how do you feel wide receiver class this year compared to what they had 12 months ago?
Well, this is curious because my expectations for the receiver core themselves is different than my expectations of how the receiving class is going to impact the changes in this offense. And what I mean to say is, I might not have the expectation like I would have had when they had Calvin Ridley, again, to come in and be this number one and just take the top off the offense. But I do have the expectation that now the running game is going to be better because you have a guy like Brian Thomas who actually likes to block. Like, you have a guy like Gabe Davis who actually likes to block and is not being pinballed around like we've seen some in 2023 when guys try to they give you the effort, but they're not truly someone who's going to be able to help you block on the edges. They actually have guys who are able to do that now. So I'm thinking of that, not just who the players are, but actually their style allows the offense to be able to run the ball better. So I'm happy with that already, in addition to the fact that they have a player in Gabe Davis who was able to attack the seams. They didn't have that on the roster previously. They just didn't. It was all guys who were able to attack the sidelines. And now they have guys who can actually, all right, we can attack the seams and allow Christian Kirk to just do his thing underneath with Evan Ingram. That to me excites me because I can see and I can understand that plan of action as far as if you're a coach, as far as if you're a GM trying to piece that together. So while I don't see them having the success vertically and, as far as the passing game is concerned, as I expected with Calvin Ridley, with Zay Jones, with Christian Kirk initially, I still expect Christian Kirk to be the number one receiver in this offense. And I expect that to happen because I do expect them to be able to make teams pay over the top with Gabe Davis and with BTJ. And because of that, that gives me a little bit of excitement.
Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Travis, they went corner in round 3, corner in round 5. Jarian Jones out of Florida State, DeAndre Prince out of Ole Miss. I had the chance to talk with DeAndre after practice on Friday. Really enjoyed that conversation. But the question is, when you look at the overall roster, have they done enough? I mean, they've drafted 6 corners in the last 3 years. Minimum 2 of those guys are probably not going to make this roster, which is interesting. We still got Tyson Campbell as well, Ronald Darby. We think Darnell Savage. I mean, your thoughts on the secondary plus the corners they drafted 2 weeks ago and how all that's going to work as we move forward?
Well, I'm a fan of what they've done overall. I know a lot of people are, they have apprehensions about what's going to happen with this secondary group because you have Ronald Darby, who has in the past had some injuries. So you're wondering, all right, what does the depth look like? What does the top end even look like, for that matter? And I understand those apprehensions. However, I will say the 2 cornerbacks that we got in this draft are dogs. And I mean it in every sense of the word. Like, I am a former UCF cornerback. I love DBs. I'm paying attention even in rookie minicamp. That's who I'm mainly looking at, is the cornerbacks, because that's my area. And these were 2 of my 4 guys in the draft, Jarian Jones and DeAndre Prince. And we have 2 dogs on this team. DeAndre Prince is going to be your break glass in case of emergency corner. I mean, he might even compete early as far as being an outside corner because he's so aggressive, and he's probably going to get better coaching in the NFL than he got at Ole Miss. So I'm a fan of that pick just off the top. And you have Jarian Jones with the ability to play outside corner, but his bread's going to be made in the slot. I'm a fan of both of those picks, and I think those 2 picks can transform a defense because a lot like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Jaguars have an opportunity right now to build via the draft, to actually use some of those mid and those late round picks and and just change over that entire secondary for the cheap. When you have the opportunity to do that, at least get a view of it before talking about bringing in a big time veteran or something like that. So, and because they're doing it that route, I am a fan of it because that's how you win on the money side, and you can also get 4 years of cheap labor out of some really dang good talent.
To the defensive line we go, and I guess you could lump the offensive line in this as well. Regardless of the verbiage, whether they need to get more physical according to the GM or the head coach who chuckles at that notion because it's obviously the game of football. That was interesting on Friday. But regardless, they did bring in a lot of big bodies on the lines. I think if you count Miles Cole, the 7th rounder, it's 8 guys, 280 plus on both lines of scrimmage. 7 of them are definitely going to make the roster. We'll see what happens with Miles Cole, the 7th rounder. But they said, Trent Baalke said he wanted to address O-line and D-line. They did that in free agency. They did that in the draft. My question to you, Travis, do you think they did enough?
That is a hard one. If you believe, as far as the D-line is concerned, I do believe that they did enough. That's just me personally. I am a slight believer in the Mason Smith pick because I saw what he did in the last quarter of last season, and everyone's kind of now we're hearing those same things trickle out between whether it's Matt House saying it, whether it's the assistant GM saying it. Everyone's kind of hinting at, hey, the last quarter of the season he was himself, And if you go back in all the tape, hey, he was unblockable in these camps. He was unblockable in these games, and the tape confirms it. Every time he's in a one-on-one situation, he is destroying these teams in the last quarter of 2023. Based on that pick and the veterans we already have in the fold, I mean, in addition to the slight, hope that you have with Devon Hamilton's going to become his normal stuff after having a full year to kind of get reacclimated after his, medical issue. Hey, I'm a believer in the D-line having the ability to truly dominate some games. And this might be one of the better D-lines we've seen in Doug Peterson's time here. But as far as the offensive line, that's the question mark. I mean, that truly is it, because I have not been as much of a fan as what the offensive line looked like last year, and I fully understand why they had the issues that they had with the 14 or 15 different combinations of starters that they had throughout 2023. That's a big issue for any team. I mean, that was the biggest issue with Doug Peterson's Philadelphia Eagles offense in this final season there. They had at the time, an NFL record, 18 different combinations of their starting offensive line due to injury. And that's what got him fired there. So that's a big issue. And I don't know that we necessarily solved that with, adding in the one true, Javon Foster, the one true offensive tackle that we brought in, and not much on the inside. So I guess we're just really hoping on Cooper Hodges. That's going to be a curious one, because I don't know that they shouldn't have maybe brought in at least one more person as far as the interior line.
No, I think that's fair. They re-signed Ezra Cleveland. We'll see about Mitch Morse. They have depth, right? I mean, if you assume Robinson, Cleveland, Morse, Sheriff, Harrison, well, then all of a sudden you got Walker Little. Luke Fortner started, 34 games in the NFL, and he's now a backup offensive lineman. There's not a lot of teams that have that. Tyler Shatley, we'll see what his future holds. He did get re-signed. Javon Foster in round 4. You mentioned Cooper Hodges. I'll throw Blake Hansen as well. That'll be interesting, particularly on the back part of that offensive line, to see what happens in the final roster cuts. Final moments, Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country. Travis, I want to ask you about the defensive line in a moment, the veterans in a moment. But before we get there, January 7th was a bad day for the organization, man. They walked off the field in Nashville. They were losers of 5 out of 6, missed the playoffs, biggest late season collapse in franchise history. We've talked about that ad nauseum for 4 months. Are they better? Are they better now in the middle part of May than they were when they walked off the field in Nashville on January 7th?
I mean, they're healthier. Let's start there. They are healthier, and that is a start. But I don't know that they're necessarily better if you're talking. Let's just separate it. We'll talk special teams. Are they better? Probably. I actually believe that the Cam Little pick helps them as far as kicking and having some consistency there. And kudos on that draft pick, because a lot of teams won't draft the kicker. Are they better on defense? I have to believe that they are. In changing the scheme and actually getting the guy that you truly want as far as leading your defense. And I'm not saying that Coach Peterson didn't necessarily want Mike Caldwell to lead his defense, but at the time, again, some of these guys simply weren't available. That now they're able to get the guy that they chose to have, one of the top defensive coordinators available on the market, and an aggressive defense that's going to allow them to get in people's faces. I think that's going to be a net positive overall. So overall on the defense, I actually do believe that they are better, in spite of the fact that we still have concerns as far as maybe the depth of that rotational rusher, and maybe the depth of the cornerback, the top end part of the cornerback class. But overall, I do believe the defense will be better because of that change. Offensively, don't know that they're necessarily better, but I do believe that they're different. And that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. The fact that they actually have now multiple guys who are able to take the top off of defense, one guy to attack the seam, one guy to go down the sideline. And that would then allow the Jaguars to be more of a vertical offense, a lot like the Buffalo Bills with what they did with Josh Allen. To change this from being such a horizontal offense that we've all complained about for the last 2 years. I mean, going back to 2022, when it was just Evan Ingram and just Christian Kirk doing drags across the field all day. Now we can actually say, we have 2 vertical threats, and now this is something to scare teams into not playing, just sitting on routes, which is what we've seen, whether it's the Chargers, the Titans, etc. So are they better on 2 parts of 3 parts of a team? Yes. Are they better on offense? I don't know that I can say that, but I can absolutely say I believe it to be different enough that where it matters materially.
I think that's fair. I like that. No, I think that's absolutely fair. Final question, Travis. We got about 90 seconds. We did this last year. Veteran edge pass rushers. They never brought one in. May, June, July, August. Now here we are, fast forward to 2024. I still think they need to address it. They haven't yet. We just saw Bud Dupree come off the market. Are you of the opinion they need to bring another guy in?
I mean, the guy I wanted them to bring in was Bud Dupree, and he is now gone. So now I'm having to scour, the guys that are currently available, and I'm not sure who's going to truly move the needle and also be willing to come in as that third rotational guy. It may get to that point where, they've been claiming and pounding the table to be a draft and development team. We want to be a draft and development team. And Coach Peterson said it all offseason. Trent Baalke said it all offseason. Hey, show me. At this point, this is your opportunity. You say you want to be this, be it. Because this is your opportunity, because you 2 years straight, you gone in and you double dipped it. We don't want a rotational pass rusher. Not a veteran one, not the one we're going to pay big money to. So, cool. Then one of these other guys are going to have to show up, or you're going to just have egg on your face. So, hopefully they show up.
And hopefully Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker stay healthy, because if one of those guys would have gotten injured last year, they would have been up a creek. And if one of those guys gets injured right now, the way the roster stands, they'd be up a creek. They got it to me, bring in another guy. I can't imagine they would make that same mistake twice. Travis, tell us about Big Cat Country, man. I imagine most people listening know about it. For the ones that don't, though, what can people look forward to when they head on over to the website?
We're covering everything. Whether it's a press conference, whether it's schedule releases, etc. If there's something that's going on about the Jaguars and you're looking to find out about it, go to BigCatCountry.com, save it as a favorite, follow Big Cat Country on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, Travis D. Holmes on Facebook, etc. We're covering everything. It's the SB Nation fan site for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we cover everything, again, breaking down press conferences, showing you the highlights from rookie camp and OTAs and everything. So check out the site. Hit us up on all the socials, and we actually interact. We're not too big for the little guy because we are the little guy.
Hey, Travis, always enjoy the conversation, man. Thank you. Let's do it again as training camp approaches, and we'll talk soon, my friend. Really appreciate it.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
There you go. Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. The Jaguars did make a few signings today. Nothing that will really push the needle. Trey Flowers is a corner that last played in Atlanta with Ryan Nielsen. Ty Summers, a linebacker from Green Bay, spent time here with Jacksonville on the practice squad, I believe, in 2022. And then Terrell Edmunds is the biggest name. Edmunds was a safety for Philadelphia, actually got traded to Tennessee in the Kevin Byard deal last year. Played with the Titans, I think combined with Philly and Tennessee. He had 48 tackles last year. He's a guy, right? I think he's a guy that, of the three, I think he could legit compete for a 53-man roster spot. The problem is he's a safety. And right now, it's safety for the Jaguars is absolutely loaded. From Antonio Johnson to Andre Sisco to Darnell Savage to Dewey Wingard, Daniel Thomas, on down the line. So I don't know how much room there is, but to me, the biggest quote-unquote name they brought in today was Terrell Edmunds, and we'll see if anything develops from that. More NFL coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. If you missed our conversation with Gene Fournette on Tuesday night right after the city council meeting, I think you'll find that very interesting when it comes to the stadium renovations, potentially where games will be played moving forward. We'll find out all that coming up in the next few weeks and or months. But Fournette had a lot of good tidbits for us on Tuesday, and we'll bring you a Hacker After Dark replay of that coming up in about a half an hour. Coming up next, we're going to shift gears to the world of college football. I talked about this on the Gator Bites podcast earlier this morning. You can check that out on the Florida Gator 1010XL Facebook page, also at 1010XL.com, the award-winning, mind you, Gator Bites podcast. Expectations for Florida are very low. I do mean very low. Dare I say Gator Nation is realistic about what's going to happen this year. Cole Kublik is a guy that covers college football for the SEC Network, for ESPN, for Jocks Radio in Birmingham. He does a lot with the sport. He says to pump the brakes a little bit. Florida, in his opinion, their expectations may be too low. They're going to be better than we think they're going to be. Why does he think that? He'll tell you next on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark.
Sports sounds better on radio.
I love it. I love it.
You get the most live sports on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing will last 2 to 3 times longer than a shingle roof? If you want a better roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Schedule your free estimate today at PrimeRoofingFL.com. That's PrimeRoofingFL.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and summer's here on the First Coast. You know, long days, short sleeves, lazy summer afternoons, and soaring temperatures that can do a number on your AC. But do what I did and plan ahead with an expert AC tune-up from Fenwick Home Services to avoid those costly summer breakdowns. If you've heard me say it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. Hope is not a plan. That's why Fenwick Home Services has you covered 24/7 with same-day service, including maintenance plans, free same-day estimates, and guaranteed repairs. Book online at FenwickHomeservices.com. That's FenwickHomeservices.com.
Let's go! Don't you dare miss the Jacksonville Sharks calming the storm this weekend. They're going to beat that Sioux Falls Storm. You bet. Saturday, May 18th, 7 o'clock at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Let's go! With tickets as low as $15, you're not going to find Saturday family affordable fun anywhere else. Call 904-621-0700 or go to jacksharks.com. Dress as your favorite superhero or villain for the Sharks Superhero Night and help the Sharks smash their opponent. All educators, buy one ticket, get one free. Join us for Shark Fest before the game. 5 o'clock, a pregame party, and rock the tank. Let's go! Don't miss opening night of the season. This Saturday, May 18th, 7 o'clock in the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Be a part of indoor football fun and exciting, non-stop action. Let's go! For tickets as low as $15, call 904-621-0700. And don't forget your cape. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
1010XL's running game takes a giant step forward.
Well, Fred Taylor is the whole package.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and B&B Fuel and Lubricants.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
It's wins, losses, and predictions all day on 1010XL. Today's review of the NFL schedule is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, and Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors.
Hey, Hicken here for Zero Res. Like many of you, I love living in Jacksonville, where we have so many families who serve or have served in the military. I'm so grateful for their sacrifice to keep us safe. If you have a family member who is on active duty or is a veteran, now is the time to call Zero Res, because right now you get a 25% military discount on everything they clean. A thank you for your service. That's 25% off carpet cleaning, tile and grout upholstery, or Oriental rugs. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 23rd.
Network. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line. He's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. But we've been so caught up on the NFL draft and everything going on that we're already in the month of May, if you can believe that. Conference media days are just over 2 months away, and what will be the biggest college football season we've ever seen, with all the realignment and, of course, the 12-team playoff awaiting us at the end. With that, Cole Kubelik, you hear him on Jocks Radio in Birmingham. You see him on the SEC Network and his podcast, The Cube Show, which is why I wanted to get Cole on. He had some very interesting comments about the Florida Gators. Cole, how we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Ryan. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, Cole, thank you. So your podcast you do, The Cube Show, and I would recommend all Gator fans go check out one of your latest episodes. Man, there are not a lot of expectations in a positive way for the Gators entering 2024, year 3 for Billy Napier. Yet, you're one of the guys that maybe thinks Florida is going to exceed some of those expectations. Talk about that a little bit.
I think part of it, Ryan, is just the expectations were so low. I think these people that are talking about Florida, winning 2, 3, 4 games, I just think it's laughable, to be honest with you. And I think it does start with the schedule. There are a lot of people, and we've been propping this schedule up for 2 years now, since it was first dropped, or we first saw about it, a year and a half. And people saw the logos and the names that were on that schedule, and I think immediately just said, oh no, this is insurmountable, this is impossible, this can't happen. And I think when you actually dive into it, it's just not as an impossible task, I think, as a lot of people would assume. Like, Miami's done a lot through the portal this year. I understand it. Ryan, Miami went 7-6 last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, Texas A&M knocking on the door of the SEC championship game. Mississippi State's got a new head coach. Central Florida was 6-7, and a lot of people packaged that Miami and Central Florida. Oh, it was so dangerous. Watch out for these teams. Tennessee's got a new quarterback. They got a lot of new pieces. Their football team. Kentucky's got a new quarterback. They're going to rely heavily on some transfers. Don't know exactly how that's going to look. Georgia and Texas, yeah, that's what it's going to be, man. You're going to have to play probably perfect football to be competitive in those games. LSU, that offense can't be as good as it was last year. It's just not. You lose Mike Denbrock, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, couple first-round receivers. And the defense, yeah, they get Blake Baker, but they had dudes on defense last year now. I mean, one of them you and I are going to talk about here in a few minutes. So, I don't think they have a ton of dudes right this second. Ole Miss will be tough, but I tell you, if I was going to get Ole Miss, I'd rather get them on November 23rd than September 23rd. That's for sure, because I think depth's still going to be a little bit of an issue for that football team. Florida State, rivalry game. Gators were toe-to-toe with a much more talented football team last year than I think Florida State's going to have this year. So you're not going to Utah to open the season. You don't have to go to LSU. I just think there are a lot of advantages about the schedule compared to last year's that people just don't look at and don't pay attention to.
Oh, it's an interesting thought. And again, a lot of Gator fans will love to hear that. Again, Cole Kubelik, you see him all over the SEC Network. You can check out his podcast, Cube Show, which is where he talked and expanded about his thoughts on Florida entering 2024. Cole, Billy Napier's entering year 3. I know you've covered a lot of Gator games so far in his tenure there. What is your thought on Billy as we enter 2024?
Well, I'm a Billy fan. I think Billy Napier, I like the way that he builds the program. I like what he puts into it. I like how he wants to try to build the roster. I like the mentality of his football teams. Now, he's kind of came in when we had some serious changes in college football. So that takes some adaptation, and I think we're in the middle of that. But I have confidence that Billy can get it right. I understand the first 2 seasons not exactly what people wanted, but I do see a little bit of an upward projection from this team that I think a lot of people don't. So I'm a fan of Billy. I like how he runs his offense. I love the staff that he's put together, and I just like how I love his mindset as far as the organization as a whole, how it needs to be built and how it needs to be pushed.
You mentioned the offense. Obviously, Graham Mertz is going to lead the offense as much as Gator fans want to see DJ Lagway, Cole, and they may see him in certain packages. Let's be honest. This is Graham Mertz's football team. 12 months ago, a lot of lukewarmness towards Graham Mertz, right? But I thought amidst the struggles the team had last year, I thought Mertz played pretty well. I mean, what's your thought on Graham Mertz as we enter the season?
And I said this on the podcast Cube Show that you referenced. You can find it on YouTube. But if we put 73% completed, 2,903 yards, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on Peyton Thorne at Auburn or Garrett Nussmeier at LSU or some of these Blake Shapen at Mississippi State, we'd be talking about these teams winning 8, 9, 10 games. But, Graham Mertz has those numbers, and people still don't want to talk about him for some reason. The offense is not going to be a push the ball downfield as much as humanly possible offense. It's not. I think they will take more shots this year. I think that's something that they spent a lot of time in the offseason on trying to find a way to create and execute. But this is an execution offense. And this is one that asks for precision. It asks for a little bit of game management. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because it's a run-first offense. And I think the offensive line is going to be deeper. I like the running backs that are there. Would you like to have Etienne? Yes, of course. Like, he's explosive. He could be a big weapon. I think he's probably the only real loss that staff looks at and says, man, that's a tough pill to swallow, letting him get away. But you don't want to see DJ Lagway right now. You want DJ Lagway to watch Graham Mertz, and you want him to get some spot duty and see what SEC speed's all about and then take over next year. And I think you'll see him a little bit, but I think he's got a 23-year-old, 6-year senior in front of him that he's going to be able to learn a lot from that's going to provide a ton of value.
Couple of more for Cole Kublik, host of the Cube Show podcast. You can check out on YouTube and where you get all your podcasts. Also, you hear him on Jocks Radio in Birmingham. Cole, one of the problems here locally is Florida State for the Gators. And what I mean by that is Florida fans remember year 3 for Mike Norvell, where they went from not going to a bowl game in Tallahassee to winning 10 games. And if Billy doesn't do that, Florida fans are going to be upset. But again, it's a completely different circumstance with that schedule you alluded to, but I do think, unfortunately, in the minds of some fans in our area, it will work against Billy if he doesn't have the year 3 transformation that Mike Norvell had in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a direct correlation. I understand where the mindset of fans are kind of coming from, and it kind of goes back to the logos or the helmets that are on that Florida State schedule, that Florida schedule right now, and just some of how the perception of that is just not necessarily what I believe it should be. Mike Norvell's a hell of a coach. I have a ton of respect for him. I think he's a great play caller, and they did a great job through the portal to be able to build that roster to where it needed to be, hit some home runs there with players both on offense and defense. I think there will be some portal players that help this Florida team. I think there are some traditional recruits that are going to help this Florida team this year. So to sit there and say, is it going to be, a 10-win season this year? I'm not going to project that. I'm not going to say it can be that. I think they're going to be in a bowl game, and I think they have a chance to go past that a little bit. And as long as you continue to see, that upward mobility and trajectory, I know Florida fans want 10 wins. They want to compete for championships. I get that. I understand that. But we're also in a little bit of time of flux in college football right now. Like, not everything is operating the way that it has for the last 100 years. So there's going to be some ebbs and flows regardless of where you are. And I would, if I'm a Florida fan, I'm going to try to find a little bit of patience and take a deep look at how this year goes, maybe even outside exactly what the record is, and just watch how the team operates and what that team looks like and how competitive they are.
Cole, I want to end with some of your thoughts on the SEC guys the Jaguars recently brought in at the draft. Final college thought, though. Is it Georgia and I guess Texas, right? Are those the top 2 teams as we enter 2024 in the conference?
Yes, in my opinion, I believe so. I think there might be a pretty big gap between Georgia and Texas. I think there might be a decent-sized gap between Georgia, Texas, and everybody else. Now, I think you would have an Alabama, a Missouri, and maybe an Ole Miss that would be sort of next in line that absolutely have a chance to win the conference and most likely should be in the playoff. But I would have Georgia and Texas on a little bit of a different platform than I would those other schools.
Final moments with Cole Kublik. You see him all over the SEC network. We also encourage you to go check out his podcast, Cube Show. We'll tell you all about that and where to find that coming up here in just a moment. Cole, with all you do in the Southeastern Conference, man, the Jaguars obviously took big notes in the SEC as they drafted, I want to say, if you count the Texas guy, I think it was 7 guys in total. Of the 9 were from the SEC, including 3 from LSU, Brian Thomas in round 1, and the 2 big defensive linemen, Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson. Your thoughts on what the Jaguars did at this past weekend's NFL draft?
I think there are a lot of pieces of it that I really like. A lot of parts of it that I think have a chance to help Jacksonville be successful. I mean, obviously, when anybody that you're going to get towards the top of the draft should be able to come in and help right away and provide an immediate impact. I think Brian Thomas Jr. can do that. You're just going to get a different frame, a different size receiver with Brian Thomas. And I think what he does well is he'll play the middle of the field. He can obviously hurt you down the field on the perimeter, and he'll attract extra attention. And you look at what Tampa's done, you look at what San Diego has done, what New Orleans did for a while. Like some of these bigger, more physical wide receivers that can hurt you down the field, you utilize that to open some things up for a lot of other players. Mason Smith, I think, like physically when you see him, like I call him a Vince McMahon first-round draft pick. Like this guy should probably be in WWE. Like just like they don't build guys like this. He's got a ton of ability. He's been dinged up, and if he stays healthy, I mean, he's a John Henderson type of physical player. Like that's how he's put together. Elusive enough to be on the outside at times, but big enough, physical enough, strong enough to play inside. I thought his teammate Jordan Jefferson was the unsung hero of that LSU defense. He did a lot of the dirty work inside, took on a lot of blocks, blew some plays up. Like he dented the pocket and against the pass a lot of times. And that LSU defense wasn't good last year, so he didn't get a lot of credit anyway. Javon Foster has played some really good football. He's a guy that at Missouri, probably I think 2 years ago, I thought he was the best tackle in the SEC. Now, he's been inconsistent since, obviously has an NFL tackle frame, but a guy that absolutely, if you can find a way to get his good football out of him, I think has a chance to be a starting tackle and a good starting tackle in the NFL.
Yeah, the Jaguars addressed both lines of scrimmage in a big way, and a lot of SEC players are coming to Duval County. Cole Kublik. Cole, let the good folks here in Jacksonville know. They already know where to find you on the SEC network. They know you're on ESPN. Obviously, you're doing a lot of great work with the UFL and Jocks Radio. You're one of the busiest guys around. But the Cube Show podcast, right? You mentioned YouTube. Where can people find it, and what can people expect when they tune in?
Yeah, just search Cube Show, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Basically, it's a college football podcast. I try to get it out on Sundays. UFL has disrupted that just a little bit. But I just don't think there's enough college football content, especially in the offseason, and then on Sundays, which is a day dominated by the NFL. So during the season, we watch the film of every SEC game. I break it down, let you know what I saw. Off season, we're doing spring reviews right now, which is why you had me on. The Florida spring review just went up yesterday, and we've knocked a couple other teams out. We'll push those out through the rest of this month and probably into next month, and then we'll start previewing this fall coming up after that. I mean, we'll maybe have a couple top fives or something, or put together an all-conference team, or if anything big hits, we'll discuss that. But it's college football every week, and just try to break it down in a little bit more of a technical way. Like what I see on film, I'll take transfers from out of the league that are coming in that people don't see, and try to give you something a little bit more than a star rating on a guy coming in that's going to play for you and let you know what the film looked like.
We absolutely love it. The Cube Show podcast on YouTube and where you get your podcasts. Go check it out. Cole Kublik. Cole, I know you're very busy again, man. Thank you for taking time out for us in Jacksonville. We'll do it again soon, bud.
I appreciate you having me.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL. A PGA Championship update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 106th PGA Championship. Rory McIlroy is considered the best driver in the world. He was not today in the first round at Valhalla, missed plenty of fairways, but McIlroy scrambled to a 5 under 66. He's tied for 5th.
Sort of felt like it was pretty scrappy for the most part, so thought I got a lot out of my game today. Some good up and downs. I had a little bit of a scrappy part around the turn there, but overall really happy with, not really happy with how I played, but at least happy with the score.
McIlroy 4 back of Xander Schauffele, who he beat by 5 at Quail Hollow last week. Schauffele matching the major record with a 62. He's 9 under par. 3-way tie for 3rd. Tony Finau, Sahith Theegala, and Mark Hubbard, who was among the last players to finish up tonight. Hubbard birdied 3 of the last 4 holes, all of them 6 under, 3 back of Schauffele. I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% on your choice of any 6 or more interior 6-panel pre-hung slab or bifold doors. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us for the materials you need. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details.
Bring it! The 2024 NFL schedule, powered by AWS, has been released, and single game tickets are on sale now. That's every epic showdown, every classic rivalry, every primetime game, 17 games for all 32 teams. Visit NFL.com/tickets to purchase tickets today. The NFL Ticket Network, including Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, and Sports Illustrated Tickets, are the official marketplaces for NFL tickets.
Hacker here, 60 pounds. 60 pounds is what I've lost with Awaken 180 weight loss. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's the best weight loss program I've ever been on, and the results say the same. Guys, do yourself a favor. 844-346-1800, 844-346-1800, or check them out online, awaken180weightloss.com. They're changing lives. I'm one of them. You could be next. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Julington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
The Home Depot has Memorial Day savings up to $500 off select laundry appliances from top brands like Samsung. Wash and dry in one cycle with the Samsung Ultra Capacity All-in-One Washer-Dryer Combo from the Home Depot. Then, enjoy your summer while your laundry takes care of itself. Right now, get Memorial Day savings up to $500 off select laundry appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid May 16th through June 5th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, an avocado consultant from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Dave Ortega. Okay, Dave, here's your question. Your house is not bad in the morning, but by the afternoon, your AC can barely keep up, even with the curtains closed. What do you do?
Can I buy a valve?
Not that kind of show, Dave.
Can I spin the wheel?
Yeah, we don't even have a wheel, Dave.
Can I phone a friend? Can I call Bueller?
That's right, Dave. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing to assess your home's airflow and sunlight patterns and let us optimize your air conditioning so that you are cool.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Well, you gotta get out more, Dave.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
If you're a business owner and want to learn about federal, state, or local government contracts, plan to attend a free online webinar May 28th. The Florida Apex Accelerator, in partnership with UNF, provides expert guidance and consultations at no cost. The Apex Accelerator program can make selling to the government less complicated. Attend a free coffee and contracting webinar May 28th. Register at unf.edu/SBDC, then select Training and Event tab.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Look, obviously the warmer temperatures are already here, and if you're like me, you want that oppressive Florida heat to stay outside your house. That's why I'm such a fan of Pella Windows and Doors. By now we know that windows are the #1 way that heat gets in and the cold gets out. So when you're ready for the stylish design and energy efficiency that comes from Pella Windows and Doors, visit their showroom on Phillips Highway, just north of Bay Meadows, or you can always find them online at PellaJacks.com. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Loaded 9 o'clock hour coming up. Max Chadwick, Pro Football Focus, talking Jaguar draft and a little college football in less than 30 minutes. Coming up next, I had the chance to talk with Gene Fournette of the Times-Union on Tuesday, right after that city council meeting about the stadium renovation. We'll bring you Hacker After Dark replay next. Thursday night, Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
A PGA Championship update on 1010XL, brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 106th PGA Championship. NFL single-game tickets are on sale now. Visit NFL.com/tickets to purchase today. There have been 4 rounds of 62 in the 160-plus years of major championship golf, and Xander Schauffele owns 2 of them. One in the first round of the U.S. Open last year, another today in the first round at Valhalla. 9 under par, bogey-free. Tony Finau also bogey-free, a 665, 3 back of Schauffele, along with Sahith Theegala. Rory McIlroy at 5 under. He won at Valhalla the last time it hosted the PGA 10 years ago. Bob McIntyre is also at 5 under par, 4 back. 2 players in the afternoon wave joining that group at 5 under. Thomas Dietrich and Tom Kim both have played 13 holes. Scotty Scheffler, 3 under through 11. The #1 player in the world is 6 back. I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
The 2024 NFL schedule, powered by AWS, has been released, and single game tickets are on sale now. That's every epic showdown, every classic rivalry, every primetime game. 17 games for all 32 teams. Visit NFL.com/tickets to purchase tickets today. The NFL Ticket Network, including Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, and Sports Illustrated Tickets, are the official marketplaces for NFL tickets.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hacker here, and last week I mentioned the number 60, but it was prefaced with the word almost. Well, here we are 1 week later, and I can now say I've lost over 60 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. Every week, my weight keeps going down and down. Apparently, so does my blood pressure, because earlier this week, my doctor was shocked. My blood pressure is the best it's been in years, and I practically just started Awaken 180. I used to dread going to the doctor. If you're overweight, you know exactly what I mean. Always hearing you need to make changes. You need this med or you need that med. Not anymore. Awaken 180 has flipped the switch on aging for me, and I feel great. Guys, girls, if I can do Awaken 180, if I can succeed with Awaken 180, I guarantee you will too. Choose Jacksonville's choice in weight loss and make the call. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
It's wins, losses, and predictions all day on 1010XL. Today's review of the NFL schedule is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, and Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation. Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide, cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays, and new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sports book. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using promo code 1010XL when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie, and don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
The Home Depot has Memorial Day savings up to $500 off select laundry appliances from top brands like Samsung. Wash and dry in one cycle with the Samsung Ultra Capacity All-in-One Washer-Dryer Combo from the Home Depot. Then, enjoy your summer while your laundry takes care of itself. Right now, get Memorial Day savings up to $500 off select laundry appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid May 16th through June 5th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 16, 1985, after an incredible first year in the NBA with the Chicago Bulls, future Hall of Famer Michael Jordan was named NBA Rookie of the Year.
Hey gang, a tougher housing market means it's crucial to hire the right agent to sell your home at maximum price. That's why I recommend Chad and Sandy Newman. Chad and Sandy have the plan and experience to sell your home fast, and most importantly for you, get maximum cash. Listen, problems lead to promises, lead to proof when you trust Chad and Sandy. Among those promises, Chad and Sandy, the only local real estate experts I trust and recommend, and this is why. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Problems that you think are problems are fixed with the promises of Chad and Sandy. Let's go now to some proof. Justin and Palatka, I was trapped in a mortgage with my ex-wife on a home that didn't sell for 184 days with another realtor. Finally, we hired Chad and Sandy, and the difference was instantaneous. We had multiple offers in 7 days and sold and closed in 16. So just do this, gang. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com.
Attention golfing fans. Leon Searcy here. The Smoking Aces of Jacksonville are presenting my celebrity golf tournament at Queens Harbor Golf and Country Club June 14th. Tee time is at 9 a.m. Along with myself, we've got celebrity NFL, NBA, and former boxing champions who will be in attendance. Go to SmokingAcesJacksonville.com to register or become a sponsor. SmokingAcesJacksonville.com. The big fella will be there.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Okay, let's go to the All-Pro Roofing phone line right now. My buddy Gene Fournette of the Florida Times-Union. He's been a staple in this city for years. He joins us here on 1010XL. Gene, really appreciate you joining us on short notice. Your reaction to the city council meeting tonight and the proposed renovated $1.4 billion stadium?
Well, to be honest with you, Ryan, I was pleasantly surprised that the two sides were able to come to an agreement that was 50, let me rephrase that. The framework for an agreement on a 50-50 split on simply the stadium renovation. Now, what the Jaguars and Mark Lamping very cleverly have done is they can, from an optics standpoint, they can say to the public, "Hey, we got a 50-50 split on the stadium deal, right?" But to the NFL owners, who I think would be a little bit hesitant to approve a true 50-50 split between the city and the Jaguars, well, there's also a matter of $150 million in deferred capital and maintenance for the stadium, and that part is on the city, right? So when they go and present it to the NFL owners, Mark Lamping isn't going to present it as a 50-50 split. He's going to present it as 55-45. 55 for the city, 45 for the Jaguars, which is something that the owners would find much more palatable than a 50-50 split, especially coming off the heels of Buffalo and Tennessee, where the taxpayers were, funneling about 60%. Now, granted, they had help from other areas, right? They had state funding that is not available to the Jaguars and the city of Jacksonville. But I was surprised that they came to a 50-50 split. And I asked Mark Lamping, I said, was it always this way? Is this what you guys started out as? And he said no. He said the city wanted us to do more than 50-50, but that was a tipping point for the Jaguars. They were not wanting to go more than 50-50 on the stadium renovation part of the deal.
Gene Fournette of the Florida Times-Union. Gene, we're throwing a lot of numbers at the good people of Jacksonville tonight. In layman's terms, if you're a Jaguar fan listening to 1010XL tonight, reading the Florida Times-Union right now and your stories and your content about this city council meeting, are you happy with what transpired this evening if you're a Jaguar fan?
I would have to say yes. Now, listen, it's one thing to come to a framework of a deal, and let's say it goes ahead and it gets approved by the NFL owners on October 15th and 16th, which is going to be right in the middle of the Jaguars' 2 games with the Chicago Bears and, should I say this? New England Patriots.
Yeah, that's the rumor, yep.
Well, it's more than just a rumor. But anyway, I think that Jaguars fans should be happy with this deal. And if you're a taxpayer who is not a football fan and could care less whether the city of Jacksonville has an NFL team or not, you're probably not happy because it's still $625 million, right? But in the context of what these stadium deals are costing all these cities, the Jaguars got off pretty good with a $1.4 billion renovation plan as opposed to $2 billion in Tennessee, $2.1 billion with Buffalo. Now, granted, those are brand new stadiums, but in a city like Jacksonville where there's just not, the tax base is just not as big as it is in other places, and because you don't have other revenue streams to tap into beyond Duval County tax base, I think this is probably as reasonable and as fair a deal as you could hope for, whether you are just a Jaguars season ticket holder or whether you're just a Jacksonville citizen who might be just a casual football fan who doesn't spend money on the Jaguars.
And, Gene, we got to pump the brakes a little bit with fans out there. I've seen a lot of reaction on social media talking about approved, it's done, not yet, right? I mean, it's looking really good, and the agreement has been reached, right, or the foundation of an agreement between the city and between the Jaguars, but the vote, the approval by the city council has not transpired yet. Now, getting to that, 19 city council people, a majority is what it takes, so that's obviously 10 of the 19. How confident are you that this thing is going to get approved in the city council?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm not a very wealthy man, but I would be willing to wager a lot of my discretion, a lot of my discretionary income on it that it would pass. Mm-hmm. And I would guess that it would pass by a pretty decent margin. Listen, Mayor Deegan said it today. This is Jacksonville's moment, right? This is if the city of Jacksonville isn't willing to do this deal, then you can kiss the Jaguars goodbye. You can kiss the Florida-Georgia game goodbye. You can kiss the Gator Bowl game goodbye. It'll all be gone. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. because the renovated stadium is what allows you to it allows the Jaguars, the main tenant, and it allows all these other events to be more attractive for people to come to spend their money, and for the people who are in charge of making these decisions to want to come here when you've got a stadium that's got all the new bells and whistles. Just there's too much competition out there for events and for teams to just kind of as I think the way Mayor Deegan portrayed it today is the city can't keep doing half measure. That's the way she phrased it. She used the term half measure, and this is the city's opportunity to not just keep the Jaguars, but to lay the groundwork to have a city that citizens can really take advantage of and have amenities and have entertainment. This is sort of like the launching pad for it, because I think it's going to be very hard to justify turning around and paying for an entertainment district, which is going to be about another $1 billion, right? Well, it'd be hard to justify that if you don't have a renovated stadium and sort of a showcase, a showpiece to put all that entertainment around. So it's just, listen, I've already written it. The risk of not doing a renovated stadium are greater than the risk of doing it, and I just feel that for the benefit of the city of Jacksonville, and I'm not saying that just as a sports media guy who wants an NFL team to cover, right? I mean, I just yes, do I want an NFL team to cover? Well, of course, but I just think that this goes far beyond just having an NFL team to root for or take an interest in. This is about moving Jacksonville forward as a city, because quite frankly, it's been stuck in neutral for way too long.
Final moments with Gene Fournette of the Florida Times-Union. All right, Gene, let's say it does get approved, and I agree with you. It looks very good, like it's going in that direction. Now, Jaguar fans want to know logistically what happens. So 2024 and 2025 is going to remain as is, status quo. The Jaguars will play in Everbank Stadium. In 2026, what's maybe a little different than what was reported a few months ago is they look like they're going to play here in a reduced capacity situation, maybe in excess of 40,000, something like that. And then in 27 is when they're likely going to have to leave for a year to either Orlando or, my understanding, Gene, maybe the leader in the clubhouse is Gainesville, and all that talk about Daytona is probably over at this point. Is that the way you see it?
Mostly. The stadium capacity will be 43,500, which would probably be about 20,000 under the capacity for a normal NFL game. So 43.5 for the 2025 season. For 2026, when they have to leave and go play elsewhere, it's down to just Orlando and Gainesville. But there's two separate issues. I mean, Gainesville's closer, right? So that would be a little bit more convenient for Jaguars fans, right? Depending on which side of the Duval County tracks you live. But the issue with Gainesville is that it's very tight quarters on the sideline, and I don't know if they will be able to accommodate the NFL camera space that is desired by the league to play games there. So that's an issue as well. If I were a betting person right now, and it sounds like the Jaguars it's an either-or situation. It's not like 4 games in Gainesville, 3 games in Orlando. They want to make it one or the other. And if I was a betting man, I think I would lean more toward Orlando right now.
Interesting. Boy, Bianchi would love that, wouldn't he? Down in Orlando for a year for the Jaguars. All right, Gene, leave us with this. The London situation. This was brought up last night when those initial reports came out. It appears one home game will remain in London after this renovated stadium is built. There was some dialogue about potentially 2 home games every 4 years, which I said it last night. I just couldn't believe that would be the case. I guess the clarity today is, yeah, maybe that is the case, but only in the years where Jacksonville has 9 scheduled home games. So the bottom line, there would be a minimum of 7 games played in Duval County every year, regardless of what happens over in London.
Yeah, that's correct. I still believe in my heart of hearts that it'll be tough from an optics standpoint to ever take 2 games off the plate in any year. Now, yes, the NFL has this. You know, they want teams to take away a home game once every 4 years. But I don't know if they would see the Jaguars as one of those teams, because the Jaguars already have a built-in thing where they're already taking 1 home game away every year. So that 1 every 4 years, and I don't know this, I'm just surmising this, is my guess is that applies to the other 31 other teams. I don't know that it would apply to the Jaguars because of the tradition of them playing a home game there every year. And another reminder, that agreement expires, I believe, after next year. So they would have to do another agreement. But I think the Jaguars have gotten a pretty strong PR message that the optics of taking 2 home games to London every year should probably be a non-starter for them.
Boy, what an interesting day here in Jacksonville. The schedule comes out tomorrow. That'll be great as well. But the bottom line, it appears we're moving forward. The arrow is green, and we're moving forward on getting this stadium renovated. It'll take a city council vote. A majority of the 19 city council persons, if they get 10 or more, this thing then goes to the NFL. If you get the NFL owner's approval, it's a done deal, and the Jaguars will have a brand new or a renovated stadium, $1.4 billion, and a brand new 30-year lease here in the city of Jacksonville. Gene Fournette. Gene, I know you've been very busy. Thank you for joining us on short notice. I'll see you out there at OTAs.
Ryan, I just want to make one point. If this vote ever goes to the NFL owners, that'll be a mere formality. That'll be rubber stamped. That won't get to an NFL owner's vote without it being approved.
Sure.
That's much more of a certainty. Even though I think the city council will approve it. I mean, the NFL owners, you don't get to the owners' vote to have them reject it. That will not happen.
So it looks like the city council, if they get to the majority, it'll obviously be all but a done deal at that point. Gene, thank you, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Okay, Ryan, take care.
Get your motor running.
Let's go racing!
It's NASCAR's All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro Speedway, Sunday night. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. From Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Attention real estate agents, loan officers, and mortgage professionals. Trust your real estate closings to the expertise of St. John's Title, LLC. As a board-certified attorney-owned and operated firm with years of experience, St. John's Title provides the utmost of precision and professionalism. With conveniently located offices and in-home remote closing options, our customer-first approach ensures a seamless process tailored to your timeline. Join our team of experts and 5-star testimonials from customers across the First Coast. Choose St. John's Title.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Honey! Septic alert, septic alert. Time for a spring septic clean? Contact Duck Duck Rooter today. Just $5.25 to keep your septic alive. For just $525, Duck Duck Rooter will pump out your septic tank, clean your outlet filter, plus send a plumber to your home to provide drain cleaning to your main sewer line. Call now to book 904-862-6769. DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Make sure your roof is ready for the next Florida storm by scheduling a free roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roof repairs and replacements, plus flexible financing. This offer expires May 31st and restrictions apply. Ensure peace of mind before the next storm hits. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Let's go! Don't you dare miss the Jacksonville Sharks calming the storm this weekend. They're going to beat that Sioux Falls storm. You bet. Saturday, May 18th, 7 o'clock at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Let's go! With tickets as low as $15, you're not going to find Saturday family affordable fun anywhere else. Call 904-621-0700 or go to jacksharks.com. Dress as your favorite superhero or villain for the Sharks Superhero Night and help the Sharks smash their opponent. All educators, buy one ticket, get one free. Join us for Shark Fest before the game. 5 o'clock, a pregame party, and rock the tank. Let's go! Don't miss opening night of the season. This Saturday, May 18th, 7 o'clock in the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Be a part of indoor football fun and exciting, non-stop action. Let's go! For tickets as low as $15, call 904-621-0700. And don't forget your cape. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
The All-Pro Roofing phone line connects you to some of the most sports-connected minds in the country.
You mean you can actually contact these people?
Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
We'll talk on the phone.
On 1010XL.
Find your why in your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing Scalp Micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS. 904-777-4477 or visit hairforme.com today.
I'm the guy that never gives 5 stars because I never believe that anything is perfect. But I would give them 20 stars if I could.
Ernest Stellar Review belongs to QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments. They came through when he badly needed relief for his aching knees, and doctors had told him that surgery was the only option.
What they're doing is cutting edge, and it really helps. And I'm a tough sell.
QC Kinetics is led by National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in this field. With 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, publishing in non-surgical natural pain treatments. These are the medical pros to trust.
I'm living my life basically pain-free from what I was dealing with, so I'm a happy camper today, no doubt about it.
QC Kinetics. Call today to see if you're a candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Hey, Hicken here for Zero Res. Like many of you, I love living in Jacksonville, where we have so many families who serve or have served in the military. I'm so grateful for their sacrifice to keep us safe. If you have a family member who is on active duty or is a veteran, now is the time to call Zero Res. Because right now you get a 25% military discount on everything they clean. A thank you for your service. That's 25% off carpet cleaning, tile and grout upholstery, or Oriental rugs. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 23rd.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Max Chadwick of PFF. He covers college football for PFF and hosts their college football podcast over there at Pro Football Focus. And he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Max, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Thanks for having me on again.
Hey, Max, always appreciate the time. We'll talk a little college ball with you at the end, but let's get into the Jaguars and the draft class. The rookies are in town taking part in rookie minicamp. Before we dive in, player by player, Max, just a thought on how the Jaguars fared coming out of the draft, in your opinion.
I think they did a pretty okay job. I think they definitely reached on some players that I didn't love in this draft, but I thought overall they did a pretty solid job. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I like some of their other picks they had later on in the draft, but like I said, they did reach on a couple other players too. So I think overall it was a pretty okay draft, I would say, for the Jaguars.
It started with Brian Thomas. You said you like him. What do you like about the Jaguar new receiver?
Yeah, obviously he's a guy who's going to be an explosive vertical threat. He led the nation in touchdowns this past season. He led the nation, I think, on 20-plus yard throws in yards, catches, and touchdowns. So he's a deep threat, which is good because it's exactly what the Jaguars need right now because obviously they like to push the ball downfield a lot, and Trevor Lawrence loves to do that. So I think he's a guy that's going to be a great deep threat for Trevor Lawrence, and it makes a lot of sense that they wanted to target him with their first-round pick.
You know, it's interesting how the Jaguar wide receiver core has come together. A guy like Brian Thomas, when you intermingle him with Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk, they got three guys now that kind of do different things, right? What do you think about the Jaguar wide receiver room?
Yeah, it definitely was a kind of a weakness heading into the draft, and I think they definitely addressed it, obviously, by taking a first-round receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. But, yeah, I like Christian Kirk a lot as a slot receiver, and then obviously Gabe Davis has kind of struggled a little bit in Buffalo over the last couple of years, but I still think he's a good complementary piece. And then Brian Thomas Jr. as a first-round pick, you're hoping could be that eventually that number one receiver for you. And like I said, he's probably the best deep threat the Jaguars have pretty immediately. So it's starting to come together more. It still obviously could get improved, I think. But that wide receiver core, I feel a lot better about it than I did entering the draft, for sure.
Max Chadwick of PFF. Max, I got a feeling a couple of guys that you mentioned they reached on, I'm going to ask you about next. That seems to be the national narrative. Brian Thomas's teammates. We'll start with Mason Smith in round 2, Jordan Jefferson in round 4, two big defensive linemen. Your thoughts on both of those men coming to Jacksonville?
Yeah, listen, Mason Smith is clearly that Trent Baalke has a type, right? You know, he loves the guys that maybe aren't as productive in college on the defensive line, but also they are really athletic and they're freak athletes, and that's why Trayvon Walker was the number 1 overall pick, and that's why he took Mason Smith in the second round as well. And Mason Smith kind of fits that as well, where he's a really, really good athlete. He's battled injuries throughout his career. He just hasn't really been very refined yet, and he's not very productive yet because of his time. He just hasn't really got to spend on the field yet. But like I said, he's a physically gifted football player, but his footwork needs work. His play recognition needs work. He's just a very raw defensive tackle right now. I don't love spending a top 50 pick on a guy who's that raw right now. So I would have much preferred Mason Smith on day 3 of the NFL draft rather than the second round. So that's why I think that was a little bit of a reach there, 48 overall.
It's interesting you say that. I'll defend Baalke in this regard. And look, I don't know this, but you said day 3, so maybe you're right. But the vibe I've gotten is Jacksonville didn't have a pick between 48 and 96. And whether they tried to get one or not, they didn't. There were 48 selections, obviously, in between the two. They must have thought Mason Smith was not going to be there at 96, which is why they went ahead and pulled the trigger at 48. Because I've had a lot of people tell me, Max, he was in the 60, 70, maybe 80 range, but they didn't see him falling to 96. So to me, if that's the case and if he was your guy, I guess I would give Baalke the benefit of the doubt in that scenario. What's your thought there?
Yeah, I think there's a chance he would have been there at 96. I more think he was more like at a 90s pick, like maybe like a late third round is where I expected him to go, not 48 overall. So I think there's a chance that he was going to be there at 96. Again, like I said, I would take him even lower than in the 90s. Like I said, he'd probably be more of like a day 3 pick for me. But yeah, obviously he definitely liked Mason Smith. And like I said, it's clearly Trent Baalke's type, right? You know, he loves the athletic guys who just, even if they aren't that productive in college, he still loves the potential of them. And it's why he took Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. And I would say that hasn't worked out so far for the Jaguars. And it's why he took Mason Smith over some other talented D tackles as well. So I see why Trent Baalke likes Mason Smith. Obviously, like I said, he's a freak athlete, but there's just so much refinement that's got to be done with him that's why I'm a little bit lower on Mason Smith than other people.
Max Chadwick of PFF, of course, Jordan Jefferson from LSU also in round 4. Max, they addressed corner in round 3. The last guy we'll really dive into, Jarian Jones out of Florida State, also DeAndre Prince in the 5th round out of Ole Miss. But primarily, your thoughts on Jones at the nickel corner position?
Yeah, I actually like Jarian Jones a lot. It's one of the picks I really did like. That and Javon Foster in the 4th round, I really love that pick from Jacksonville as well. But Jarian Jones doesn't have great speed, but he's a guy who's a really, really good, has good quickness. I think could be a really good slot corner, really good tackler as well. I like Jarian Jones a lot. I think he could be a long-term slot corner for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I like him a lot. Like I said, I think he's a really underrated slot corner in this draft, and where they got him, I thought was pretty good value at 96 as well. I probably would have taken him a little bit higher than that. So I like him a lot as a slot corner for Jacksonville. I think they did a great job selecting him.
Quickly, you mentioned Javon Foster, the 4th-round pick out of Missouri, 30-plus starts in the SEC at the offensive tackle position. Obviously, a lot of experience. What are some of the things about Foster that you like?
Yeah, he was a guy that actually just graded out super well throughout his career for us at PFF. So I was always really much higher on him than the consensus was, and I'm glad the Jaguars saw the same things that we were seeing here at PFF because, like I said, he's been a really, really productive player for Missouri, grading out 80-plus in multiple years in his career. So I like him a lot, and, he has an 88 grade since 2022. It's the 4th best among all tackles in the country. He could move inside to guard probably long-term in the NFL, but he's not really an explosive athlete either, but he was just a really, really good left tackle in the SEC for a number of years, and I could see why Jacksonville loved his tape, honestly, because, like I said, I thought he was a really underrated player in this draft.
Max, final Jaguar question. I want to end with some college football stuff with you, but of the other guys, whether it is DeAndre Prince, the kicker Cam Little, Keelan Robinson from Texas, Miles Cole from Texas Tech, anybody else or any of those picks stand out to you for the Jaguars?
Yeah, I like DeAndre Prince a little bit. Over the last 3 years, he's the 9th highest graded corner in the country. Really good run defender as well. I like him more as a day 3, kind of potential pick there as in that Jaguars defense who could use help in the secondary. So yeah, I like DeAndre Prince a little bit. And I think that was definitely a worthwhile investment I think they made in the draft to address it.
Max Chadwick of PFF. When people think about PFF, they think about pro football, right? Pro football focus. But you guys do a lot of college football work as well. You're one of the main guys at PFF. You got the college football show as well, the podcast. Let's talk about a couple of teams from our area, Max. Florida, not a lot of expectations coming into 2024, although it's interesting. The closer we're getting to September, I think people maybe are saying, all right, this 3-9, 4-8 talk might be a little far-fetched. Florida's not going to be that bad. Yeah, it's a hard schedule when you look at the logos, but Miami, are they considerably better than Florida? Texas A&M, Kentucky's got a new quarterback. Tennessee's got a new quarterback. Max, what's your thought on the Gators and Billy Napier heading into the year?
I think it's a brutal schedule. I actually don't hate Florida as a team. I just think their schedule, it's really hard for me to say, okay, this is a team that can make a bowl game. And I think Billy Napier, to keep his job, probably at least has to make a bowl game, if not get 7 or 8 wins. And just looking at that schedule, it's tough for me to find 7, 8 wins on that schedule. Like you mentioned, Miami's got Cam Ward there now. I'm a little bit lower on Miami than some people, but that's still probably going to be a tough game for Florida. Texas A&M could be a tough game for them as well. They got some intriguing players and a new head coach there, Mike Elko, that I really like. You mentioned Tennessee. I think Tennessee could have a really good year as well. I love their new quarterback in Nico Iamaleava. James Pierce Jr., their edge defender, could be the number 1 overall pick next year. I think Kentucky could be improved. Georgia's either the best team in the country or the second best team in the country. Texas is probably a top 5 team in the country. LSU is probably a top 15 team in the country. Ole Miss is probably a top 10 team in the country. And Florida State is probably a top 20 team in the country. So, you just look at right there, I just rattled off like 7, 8 games. It's going to be tough for Florida to win. And like I said, they probably have to win that many for Billy Napier to keep his job. So I like the future for Florida, and I like some of their current players right now. I really like Eugene Wilson, the wide receiver. DJ Lagway, the quarterback coming in. Obviously, he's the number 1 quarterback in the country coming out of high school. I actually don't think Graham Mertz is all that bad either. But it's really hard for me looking at that schedule to even say, they're going to make a bowl game next year, let alone win enough games for Billy Napier to maybe keep his job another year.
Yeah, to me, the Gators schedule is a 7-game schedule and then a 5-game schedule. The last 5 are brutal. I completely agree with you. The fact that they get Miami and Texas A&M in Gainesville helps. Their one conference road game, other than the usual, they go to Starkville. It could have been a lot worse than that. We'll see about Mississippi State. UCF, that'll be UCF Super Bowl. That'll be a tough game with KJ Jefferson, but again, that game's in Gainesville. I agree. If Florida wants any shot at a bowl game, at an absolute minimum, they probably got to be 5-2 in the first 7, so we'll certainly see what happens. You mentioned Florida State, Max, as we begin to wrap up. A lot of losses for the Seminoles. A lot of guys got drafted. A lot of guys entered the portal. Once again, though, Mike Norvell did a good job getting guys out of the portal. What's your thought on the Noles heading into 2024?
Yeah, I was super high in Florida State last year. I had them as a playoff team, and obviously they got gypped out of making the college football playoff last year. But I'm not as high on them going into this year. They still have some players I like. Obviously, DJ Uyunglele is a new quarterback. I don't hate that at all. I think he's a really solid quarterback. We got some intriguing guys defensively as well. Patrick Payton is back, who could be a first-round pick. They got Marvin Jones Jr. in the portal. Fentrell Cypress is a really good corner. DJ Lundy's a great linebacker. So they have intriguing guys. I'm not nearly as high on them as I was in previous years. So, I think Florida State, again, they're a solid team. They could compete in what's a weaker ACC right now, but I'm not nearly as high on them as I was last year.
Final moments with Max Chadwick of PFF. Quickly, Max, you mentioned Miami earlier. Napier's probably on a hot seat in Gainesville. I don't know if I would call it a hot seat for Cristobal in Coral Gables, but I can tell you this, knowing some Miami people, if they lose to Florida on August the 31st, that will not be a good look for Mario Cristobal. That is a gigantic game for Miami right out of the gate.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think he probably is a little bit on the hot seat. I know Miami fans are getting a little bit fed up with him after all the stuff that's been going on with that program. Obviously, losing the game when they should have won it against Georgia Tech is something that still leaves a sour taste in their mouths. I like Cam Ward. He's a bit of a roller coaster, though, so if he booms, he's going to be great. But if not, there's a really high boomer bust there. Cam Ward. Love Damian Martinez, the running back that got in the portal out of Oregon State. I think he's a top 10 running back in the country and could hopefully take some pressure off Cam Ward. They have a great slot receiver in Xavier Restrepo, too. I think he's a top 5 receiver in the country. But it really is all about Cam Ward and whether or not he can hit his ceiling, or will it be more of a roller coaster that we saw throughout his career. So I think Miami's got potential. But like I said, it's a boomer bust team because it really does ride on whether or not Cam Ward can ultimately hit his ceiling.
Max, final question. The Georgia Bulldogs, are they the favorites in the SEC coming into the year?
I think so pretty easily. I do. I think, them, Ohio State are the two teams I think are pretty clearly above everyone else in college football right now. And I think you can put Oregon in that respect as well. And obviously Ohio State and Oregon are not SEC teams. So, yeah, I'd say Georgia, they're the best quarterback in the country. Still a lot of talented players. I'm just stealing one of Florida's talented ones, Trevor Etienne. Got some really good players on defense as well. Malachi Starks is probably a top 2 safety in the country. Yeah, I think Georgia, obviously with the best quarterback in the country, is always going to be up there. And with how well Kirby Smart and his staff do a great job there. So, yeah, I think Georgia right now is pretty clearly the best team in the SEC, in my opinion.
Max Chadwick of PFF. Max, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about your coverage on PFF, about the college football content, and where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find it at pff.com. And then, like you said, I host the PFF College Football Show, which you can find on YouTube and anywhere your podcast too.
Absolutely fantastic. Max, I know you're busy, brother. Thank you for the time, as always. We'll do it again as the season approaches.
Thanks, Ryan.
And thank you to Max Chadwick of Pro Football Focus PFF for joining us here on Hacker After Dark, as Max does a little bit of both, right? He's a draft analyst, so we certainly talked about the Jaguar draft class, but he's also one of the main college football guys there at Pro Football Focus. So certainly enjoyed talking with him about Florida, Florida State, Georgia, and the Miami Hurricanes. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very busy Thursday night, and it's been a very busy week here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Max Chadwick of PFF. Thank you to Gene Fournette. Happy we were able to bring you that replay earlier tonight. We had Gene on Tuesday after the city council meeting, and I thought Gene had some really interesting perspective on the stadium situation, potentially where the Jaguars could be playing while the renovations are happening. So certainly want to thank Gene for his time this week. Thank you to Cole Kublik of ESPN and the SEC Network for talking a little Gator football with us this evening, and Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country stopped by to give his thoughts on Jaguar rookie minicamp. That'll do it for us for a Thursday night, and that'll do it for me for a little bit of time, actually. I'm going on a vacation starting tomorrow, and I'm also gone all of next week. I will be back with you on Tuesday, May the 28th. So it'll be a little bit of time before I'm back, but Tuesday, May 28th, we will reconvene. Good for us, as there is an OTA for the Jaguars that day, so we will have a ton to talk about. I'll hopefully have a one-on-one Jaguar interview from that practice earlier in the day. But I'm not gone. Where's Hacker? Spread the word. And I'll mention it on social media. But going on a vacation, enjoying a little family time. But I will be back on Tuesday night, May the 28th. RJ Saunders was your producer tonight. RJ, great job as always. I'm the Hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Thursday evening and a fantastic 12 days. And we will talk again Tuesday night, May the 28th. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL. A PGA Championship update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 106th PGA Championship, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. Xander Schauffele is the story after the first round at Valhalla. A sizzling 9 under 62 from Schauffele. That ties the lowest round ever at a major. Schauffele has finished in the top 20 in each of the last 8 majors without a win. Tony Finau, Sahith Theegala, and Mark Hubbard 6 under, 3 off the lead. Big group at -5, including multi-time major champs Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. John Rahm birdies for the last 6 holes to hit red numbers, a 1 under 70 for Rahm. Phil Mickelson double bogeys the last for a 3 over 74. Phil has work to do to make the cut. If Mickelson does, he would break the PGA Championship record for most career cuts made with 28. I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grade sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday,